All right, here we are. Let's get the show on the road. I will go into speaker view and I'm going to record this. All right, everybody, can you hear me okay over there in Facebook world? You're good to go? Awesome. Welcome to a very special presentation. And as you continue to pay attention to this all the way to the very end, the information we're going to be sharing with you tonight has profoundly changed my life, my family's life, and thousands of other people's lives over the last decade since we've had these products in our lives. And really what this is about is to share this with the people that we love and care about the very most, to get them properly educated on the facts, the science, the testimonials, and the knowledge and wisdom you need to be able to see the value in this for yourself and make an educated decision whether or not you feel this is an important part of, preventative health and making sure that you're living with the best quality of life that you possibly can with adding these products into your life. Now, I want to be very clear. This intention for this has nothing to do with a sales pitch or trying to sell you these products or convincing you need them or nothing like that. This is purely designed to give you the real info from A to Z and giving you a safe environment to be able to ask your questions, to do your own research, do your own due diligence, and look at other people just like you and me who have had some sort of profound experience with this water. And we also want to say right up front right now that this is not a cure for anything. We're not going to make any claims or guarantees that this is going to help you if you may or may not be dealing with some sort of health challenges at the moment. But we do feel like this is a missing piece to the bigger picture, that if you are already doing what you can to be healthy, to take care of yourself, or maybe you're trying to recover your health, get it back on track, that this is an important piece of that puzzle that you should seriously consider, seriously look into, perhaps try it out if it makes sense for you. And honestly, a big part of my vision, a big part of my life has become this real passion towards sharing this knowledge and sharing this information with people just like you. You may have seen me in a little teaser video that got sent to you to invite you to come check out this information, this presentation tonight, with a good friend of mine and a doctor who's going to give you the real legitimate facts and science behind the water, Dr. Michael Donaldson, who's changed thousands of lives all over the world with his knowledge and wisdom, with his wife, Abby. And we're really grateful to have his willingness to help and his passion to really educate people as well. But let's rewind a little bit and I'll share a little bit about my background and my story of how this product and how this company came into my life. It was actually 10 years ago in May of this year that my mom was trying to find a way to help me with some serious digestion problems that I was dealing with and suffering with for over a decade since I was a little boy. And it was to do with my digestion. I had bloating, pain, discomfort, cramps. Sometimes it'd feel like I was so bloated I was gonna explode, and sometimes I couldn't go to the bathroom for a few days. Other times I had to run to the washroom every 30 minutes. It was just weird. It wasn't super consistent, but it was always something to do with my stomach, something to do with my digestion. And over the years, of course, we tried everything. We'd go to the doctor, went to the hospital multiple times and tried different diets, different supplements, all kinds of, I got my allergies tested. I got this done and nothing ever helped. Sometimes it would mask it temporarily. Other times it would come back right away. And it got to the point where in high school, I was getting gallbladder attacks. And I'm not sure if you've ever had a gallbladder attack, but they are extremely uncomfortable. It is They say that a full-on gallbladder attack is the equivalent to going through labor, right? So I'm a guy never going to go through labor, but I've gone through that pain. I'm not sure if it's an accurate assumption of on par or not, but I've gone through that pain now, dozens of times, and it was really bad. Like, I got to the point where I'm like, this is just my life. This is just the way that my cards were dealt. It was a mild to serious discomfort on a daily basis, but my mom refused to give up. My mom refused to accept that was the way it was. She kept searching and looking. And back in 2008, she was looking into rewind a little bit. It was like 2005, I got my gallbladder removed, and I continued to have these problems after. And the doctors and not the scientists, but the doctors said that once I get my gallbladder removed, my problem should go away. So we got a few different opinions, and they all said the same thing. And of course, the doctors are smarter than us. So we listened, and turned out it wasn't really the best decision. And all my symptoms came back. It was even worse. It hurt even more. And now I'm missing part of my body. So this was kind of the catalyst to really, really piss my mom off and be like, what if we can focus more on prevention? What if we can do more ourselves personally instead of relying on other people? She started reading all these books. And one of the things that was really interesting is that all these books were talking about how water plays such a key role in our overall wellness, in our overall health. And our bodies are mostly made of water, 70, 75% water. And, our brains are up there, 85, 90% water. So without water, we can't survive, And the strange thing was, they said that not all water was created equal. So yes, you might be drinking 8 glasses of water a day and all this stuff that you were told throughout your life and in school and whatever. But even then, there's so many different types of water, and they don't all serve your body the same way. Some are actually not beneficial at all and hurt you. So my mom was kind of blown away by this, because over that course of 10, 15 years of me dealing with those stomach issues, going to the doctor and hospital so many times, they never once asked or talked about water with us ever. So that was kind of weird. It's like they literally listed off all these other things it could be, but it was never water, and it was never what kind of water. It was never how much water. It was just a conversation that never happened. So then, different doctors and scientists and high-level professional, the best of the best in the world that she was learning from and reading from, they were all talking about this product. They were all talking about the water, like how water is so important. So that's what took her onto this journey of discovering what different types of products were out there regarding water. Obviously, at the time, we had basic information like there's tap water, there's filtered water, there's bottled water, and that's pretty much all we knew. And over the last 10 years, since we've been sharing this with other people, we realized that most people's level of knowledge around water is pretty much at that level. They don't know much about it. They know it's important, a lot of them. They know they should drink more water, but they don't actually know what it does in their body to eliminate waste and put the good nutrients in and put the bad stuff out, et cetera, right? And Dr. Michael's going to get into more of the science behind that in a few minutes. But that's how everything started. And then when she went online and started researching all these different possible types of water and filters and devices and ionizers and whatnot, she came across Enagic. She came across this company. And at the time, they were a 34-year-old company. They will be celebrating 44 years this year, which is incredible to be around in a business such as this for that long and to be successful and dominate the marketplace. And up until about 10 years ago, this product was reserved for just celebrities, kings, queens, billionaires, the people in the world who have access to unlimited capital, to the smartest nutritionists and doctors that are in their corner. And when money is no object and you have the smartest people in your corner giving you advice, and they are choosing this exact same company and their products without any sort of endorsements, that's a big clue, right? And And now you and I and the common everyday ordinary person can get their hands on the same technology that's considered a medical device in Japan. And now we can get that in our homes. It's super cool. So we got to try the water. I had these stomach issues still at the time. And within 2 weeks of us sampling the water and trying it out, all of my issues seemed to just go away. Now, mind you, like I said, we were doing other things as well, trying to figure this out. And this was the missing piece. It was the main piece that really made a big, huge difference for me. And I haven't had those problems ever since. And that's been, 10 years now. Also, it's really helped me with my immune system. I don't get the seasonal colds and flus and things like that. My skin feels nicer. I have more energy. I'm more sharp in terms of my memory, my ability to retain information if I'm reading or studying stuff. So it's really been a huge, huge game changer for us. My mom has experienced amazing benefits as well, with more energy, sleeping better. Everybody we know that we've shared this with, who actually tried it, drank enough of it according to their body weight, activity levels, etc. There's never been someone who's had a side effect or it made them feel bad or it didn't work, right? The worst that happens to people is a detox, which is normal. If your body's way out of whack, you need to get it back. You're going to feel that a little bit, right? And that could vary. But once that detox period is finished, then, it usually, for the most part, is a much better experience for you, and you feel better. And it really just comes down to quality of life, right? We spend money on things every day that may or may not be a waste of money, right? Depending on how you're looking at it. But I believe that if you can invest into your family, into your health, into your quality of life, there's no better bang for buck. There's no better dollar for dollar value that you can really do. So once we kind of share everything with you and you check out the testimonials throughout this group, there's going to be, there's already like over 50, but there's going to be hundreds and hundreds as you stick around in this group over the next couple months. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds of testimonials that you'll be able to see. And the reason we decided to do this in a Facebook private group instead of like a YouTube video or a webinar or something else is because if we're able to keep the community on Facebook in this private group, you're going to be able to see these testimonials coming directly from the source, right? It's coming directly from the person. Instead of me sharing a link to a video where you don't know where that video came from, if it was some sort of endorsement or they were paid to say that or something like that. Here, it's literally the person who's saying it is also the person who is sharing it with their personal Facebook profile, which means that if you click their name and you send them a private message to ask them some questions regarding whatever they shared in the group, you're going to be talking to that person directly. And we're all here to help. We're all here to change your life, change your family's life. And that in itself makes this a really authentic, pure, honest, safe environment for you to know that you're going to get the right information and steered in the right path. Okay. So please stick around to the end. This is going to be probably some of the most valuable information that you've ever watched within a 2-hour period. And it can really make a massive difference to your life. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce my good friend, Dr. Michael Donaldson. He's been largely the main guy who's been able to take the complicated scientific jargon that goes over a lot of people's heads, and he's been able to put that into layman's terms, simplify it, still keeping it, the facts, but explaining it to people like myself and our whole community where we actually get it. And his YouTube videos, Dr. Michael Explains, have been shared hundreds of thousands of times all over the world. And he's one of the leaders in terms of knowing a lot about what this product can do. And him and his wife, and they have a health practice that focuses on optimization. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that later as well, but really getting you to have your body working at optimal levels. And they recommend this company and these products as a big piece of that overall package. And I'm so excited for him to dive into this information. So get rid of any distractions. If you have some kids or whatnot, just really give yourself this time. It'll be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half or so max, including some Q&A that will allow you to blow your mind of what's possible. So thanks so much for being on with us, Dr. Michael. I'll pass it over to you, brother.
Sounds good. Glad to be here. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's been a great opportunity to share, mastermind, work together, and do what we can to really get the message out. There's so much misinformation out there that I've kind of compiled the information that I would have needed at the beginning. And if somebody had told me this, I would have saved years of struggle and frustration. I'm a little less off the cuff, so I'm just going to jump into a PowerPoint presentation, kind of talk about some stuff, show you some stuff, and give you the ideas on what we can do with it and what it actually does. My wife and I actually, like Balazs said, we travel and we do webinars, we do seminars, we do all kinds of things. We have our own company that, it's Doctors Michael and Abby Explain, and we do a lot of really interesting things. It's a destination-based wellness program where we just literally, we get to travel the world and teach people on health, wellness, anti-aging, and we've really come to full circle to figuring out how to rebuild somebody from the inside out. And that's really, really important. And that's what this video is about. We do a lot of the foot baths, the lasers, the detox. We've got biofeedback where we can find out what stresses you out. We can work on toxins. We can work on nutrition. We can do vitamins, minerals, bacteria, molds, fungus, all that stuff. We can also really work with the emotional components and the frequency of that stress. But in May of 2009, we literally went to the School of Hard Knocks. Our youngest daughter was born with gastroschisis, and that's a short gut syndrome. We did not start this as, physicians that just found a great water machine. We'd been looking for water, and we'd kind of bypassed the alkaline ionizer because, if you don't have the right thing, there are some dangers. But we actually got into this because we were looking to save our daughter's life. Gastroschisis is actually the main component and issue with it is what's called acute dehydration syndrome. And that's where the body just refuses to absorb water. So this is 1,000 words on what gastroschisis is. Everything that should be on the inside was on the outside. Stomach, liver, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, bladder, right ovary, all of it. It was the worst case that they'd have at Scottish Rite at the time. And within the first week, the bowel actually ruptured. They couldn't get it all back in. And so she had to have a colostomy when she was a week old. That lasted for 8 weeks. They did a reversal. They tried to get it together. The bowel hemorrhaged again. So they ended up removing 17 centimeters of bowel. They did another colostomy. That one they reversed in a couple weeks. And, then it started the real battle. Everything was tucked inside, but there was no way to modulate it. This was an afternoon, and this was that evening. So as you can see, she went from, hey, wow, she looks really good like a normal baby, to, oh, wow, that's really, really gaunt and pale, because she'd lost almost 11% of her body weight in a couple hours. And everybody who's watched the TV shows with the doctors and understand triage, and it's like, whoever's going to die first, that's who the doctors deal with. And we actually had the doctors from Scottish Rite meeting us in the parking lot on several occasions. It was that bad. When they said that it happens, you call 911 to get a police escort. Don't wait for an ambulance to show up. And the first time that happens, you're like, wow, I can't believe this is now happening. The second and third time, you'll do anything you can do to figure it out. I literally became a hydration expert and delved into all the biochemistry and organic chemistry, physics, all that good stuff, trying to find the best water ionizers, the best nutritional aids. I had been through about 8 different water ionizers before I joke about being forced to try this machine. And really, it had a lot more problems than they solved. The plates would break down, there would be mold in the systems. So I became a fairly strong opponent of alkaline water ionizers, and in fact, I actually still am. But this was a very different time, and it was a very different machine. Skylar at the time was on force feeds 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She had a liquid stool every single morning that was just unbelievable. She had C. diff, distension, gas, cramping. She had hemorrhagic diaper rash because the pH of the bowel was literally in the diaper, would erode it. And so you literally had no downtime because you couldn't get any sitters. I mean, it was all nurses. And so it was a really bad place in our life. Well, when Amy came in with her Kangen machine, she's like, oh, you just need to drink the water. And I'm like, I've already tried the water. No, this is alkaline water. No, I understand alkaline water. Well, no, the pH gets neutralized by stomach acid. And I had an answer and a rebuttal because I had done all the research and I was an expert on it. So as we bantered back and forth, about 6 weeks in, it got to be that point where, oh my gosh, that lady's coming in again and she's going to hound me about her water machine. And long story short, we had done some blood work on her and we're having some stool samples and things like that. And I'd been waiting for results. And I don't know who here goes to a chiropractor. Those of you go that know you're not actually getting adjusted for a very long period of time. So you're kind of a short period of time with the doctor. And in that few minutes that she was with me, the doctor's office called. And that's when they said, she's got severe anemia. She's got blood in the stool. She's not metabolizing fats or proteins. She's at full-on failure to thrive, and we have no options. And I was kind of like stunned because they basically said, your daughter's dying and we can't stop it. And this crazy lady behind me goes, Dr. Michael, Skylar doesn't have to suffer because you're too stubborn to try the water. I'll give it to you for free. And I was furious, and I was about ready to just be like, lady, you have no idea what I've done. I can't believe. And it was that still small voice that just said, shut up and take the water. And I was like, fine, bring your water in. I'll run all these tests again, and I'll prove to you the water doesn't work, and you leave me alone. And she's like, okay, great. Well, she jumps in, she says, ups off of the table, she gets the water, she brings it in, and she said, here's the water for Skylar. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And she goes, the charge on it, the electric charge only lasts for 4 days. And I was, the electric charge? Okay, whatever, just leave. And so I took it home, and within 4 days, literally 80% of Skylar's symptoms were making that corner and were headed out. The C. diff had started to clear up. The abdomen was soft. She didn't have the cramping. She was sleeping better. And we were in 10 days out, and Skylar was like screamed and said there was a snake in the bathroom. So I went running, and it was her first solid bowel movement. And she thought a snake had crawled out of her belly. So I did what every good parent does, and I take my phone and I took a picture and I sent it to my wife and said, I'm buying a machine. Within 6 months, she was doing dance, ballet, just living like a normal child. You couldn't believe the difference. And I was kind of stunned because I'm like, how can water make that much of a difference? And then as I started to break it down, okay, well, water is important. It's 72% water. And then I came into the equation that, well, actually not all water is equal. You have good wine, bad wine, cheap gas, expensive gas, high octane, low octane, good drinks, bad drinks. And I thought, okay, so maybe there's some difference in water, and I started to tear it apart. And so as you start to break into some of the research, the concept is the purest possible water is the best water. Well, that's not actually true. The water that has the highest mineral content is what the body uses the best. In all those crazy cultures where people live to 100 years and stuff, they had a real alkaline, high mineral content water. And as you start to do the research on like reverse osmosis, for instance, those machines, they strip down everything and then they add calcium, magnesium, potassium back. That actually creates problems. That's the MS issues, the Parkinson, rapid onset osteoporosis, because it's so acidic. And then, you've got filtered water that's got junk in it, alkaline water where they add more minerals, ionized, it's electrical. But then there's this little weird category of medical grade water that almost nobody talked about. And that was called electrolyzed reduced water. And that is what makes this water different. It's Kangen in Japanese means return to origin. It's the original state of water. And that's what they figured out how to make. Now I'm just going to say this real clearly and concisely. It's not a cure for anything except for maybe dehydration. There were a lot of pieces that went into Schuyler's puzzle. We were doing enzymes, probiotics, we were doing iron, we were doing feeds, we were doing cultures, we were doing TPN. I mean, we were doing it all. But when we added the water, it had this massive impact on all the things that we were doing, because the body is 72% water. So if you have a health condition, you either have, if you had 72% of the water was exceptional, you're 72% healthier right away. That's just the science behind it. That's just how the body works. Your body wants the oxygen, the hydrogen, and the hydroxyl that comes from water. If it's not enough energy, it doesn't work. It's simply the best water to give you the most nutrition, the most oxygen, increases health, increases healing, and those are the real basic premises of it. So to kind of make that broken down, there is the concept of the saltwater aquarium. You know, there's a contained environment. They've got little fishies. They've got, you know, bacteria. They've got a respirator. They've got filters. And this is the same style of fish tank that hasn't been taken care of. Nobody would ever consider going, oh, wow, your fish tank looks a little low. I'm out of water here. Let me put some Sprite in this thing. You'd kill all the fish. Well, that's what people do to their bodies, and they actually get contaminated on the inside because the water is just nasty. So you can change the water in this fish tank, and it's going to help the fish a lot. But if you don't clean it up from the inside, it's not going to get any better. And that's really what we do. We focus in on what's called cellular respiration, and that's how you get the good stuff into the body and the bad stuff out. Oxygen, nutrition in, CO2 and toxins out. And the body uses water as the medium to do that. Every single cell in the body has this thing that's called an aquaporin, and it's the high-speed plumbing system. You can literally move stuff through it at an extreme rate if the water has enough energy and is ionized so that it flows really easily. You'll get the good stuff in faster and the bad stuff out faster. Here's how it works. You know, your heart beats and it compresses and it pushes stuff. Well, your cells do the same thing. It's called tensional integrity. This right here is a healthy cell. That 6 represents the aquaporin. This right here is the cell compressing and opening. When it compresses, it gets rid of CO2 and toxins. When it pops open, it's bringing in oxygen and nutrition. So it literally pumps. Well, this little section down here in the lower left is what a water molecule looks like. And if it's got each one of these molecules kind of sticks to another molecule, you get a clump that doesn't get into the cell. What the machine does is it takes that clump of water, energizes it so they all repel each other and they can funnel right into that little aquaporin right there. And a lot of people will say, well, that's not natural. That doesn't occur anywhere on Earth. Actually, that's the most abundant source of water on the planet. If you've ever gone to the ocean and you watch those electrical storms and you see the lightning strikes, but there's no rain, that is the natural process for what's called disassociating water. And it lasts about 3 or 4 days, just like our water machine does. When you disassociate, you break apart hydrogens and oxygens. That leaves you with molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, and hydroxyl anions. Those are a free radical scavenger. Active oxygen feeds the Krebs cycle, and molecular hydrogen feeds the cell membranes in a water that's designed to maximize hydration. It is very, very different than chemically altered alkaline water. It's electrolyzed or alkalized. Number one biggest difference with it is it doesn't affect stomach acid. Because of the electrical change, the pH is a shift based on hydroxyl that your body wants. In fact, if you have issues with stomach acid, if you drink a 12-ounce glass of this water a half hour before you eat, and then take a pinch of salt, you'll have the precursors that your body needs to actually make hydrochloric acid to digest your food. Another aspect of it is when you drink alkaline water, and I say alkaline meaning chemical, they build up in your tissues. Electrical water does not. The chemical forms do. Bottled waters, calcium, magnesium, potassium, that's where they build up in the system. If you're drinking alkalized water, electrolyzed water, doesn't build up in the system. It automatically neutralizes itself within 3 or 4 days. I have not currently found any negative research on the published medical journals in any way, shape, or form. And any one of those components actually prove that it's highly beneficial. Especially the molecular hydrogen is really good for the nervous system, and the active oxygen is incredible for the mitochondria and athletic performance. Oh, cellular respiration visually, that's where the hydrogen goes. The oxygen comes in here to feed the Krebs cycle, and the hydroxyl takes the waste out. That's all it does. Well, what Enagic did is they said, let's take that concept of the lightning strike on the ocean and put it on your kitchen sink. And so you now basically have an electrical storm, and it hits those steel plates, they're actually platinum and titanium, in a machine that's about the size of your coffee pot. It's a little bit smaller than a Keurig. But what happens is if this is that cluster of water molecules, it breaks them apart. So now you have a smaller cluster. The pH is kind of a misnomer. Really what it does is it indicates what octane is your water. You know, there's 87, 89, and 92 gas. Well, that's what this is. Breaks it down into smaller and smaller groups so that your body gets more hydrogen, oxygen, and hydroxyl. That's what it indicates. And the way that it does that is that cluster of grapes represents a water molecules grouping, and then this is your cell. Well, if each one of these grapes represents one molecule of H2O, the only way you're going to get it in that jug is if you rip it apart. If you try to cram the whole thing in, it just doesn't fit. Exact same concept. Next thing for health is everybody goes, well, how much water should I drink? I try to drink 8-ounce glasses a day. Well, that's perfect if you weigh 120 pounds. I'm 198 pounds. Actually, I'm 202 now. I've been bulking up. Been to the gym a good bit. But I would be acutely dehydrated on 8-ounce glasses a day. You want to drink a bare minimum of 50% of your body weight in ounces per day of water, regardless of whatever else you drink. In fact, if you drink coffee, you need to increase your water. If you have an acute health issue, say cough, flu, sniffles, allergy season, whatever, you want to work on 75% of your body weight in ounces per day. For chronic health issues, you want to drink 100% of your body weight. People a lot of times go, I weigh 220 pounds. There's a lot of you there. You need a lot more water. Of course, there's basically 2 or 3 different conditions where you have to be concerned about the quantity of water you drink. One's congestive heart failure. If you have an issue with it, your physician will have said, do not drink more than XYZ ounces of water a day. And my reply is, okay, drink that many ounces of this water every day and it will help, because it's bringing in the stuff that your body needs to work. On a pH scale, you see red will make you rust and blue will make you beautiful. That's where your alkalinity shifts. The body is designed to be a little bit high of 7. The problem is every single drink you run into is down in this 3, 4, 5 range. Let me explain. This is a 32-ounce glass of Kangen water. I put the drops in it, and you see how it turns blue? This right here actually has a tablespoon of Sprite in it. That tablespoon of Sprite has a pH way down here in the 2s and 3s. I took this glass and I poured it into here thinking I'll fill the glass with good water and it'll neutralize. Well, what it ended up doing is I ended up with 6 ounces of acid still way down here. When I poured this tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of diluted Sprite into 32 ounces of water, it destroyed the water before I was finished pouring it. It happened that fast. 1 tablespoon of Sprite destroyed 32 ounces of high oxygen hydrogen water. If you drink a 12-ounce can of Sprite, you literally destroy all of the available oxygen, hydrogen, and hydroxyl in your body. At 200 pounds, I'm about 18 gallons of water. That's a lot. And people will go supersize it at the fast food place. Another huge, huge, huge benefit to this machine is the foods we eat. I did not jump on this bandwagon. My wife is much smarter than I am. I'm very stubborn, but once I get it, I've got it and I can teach it. She was all about really washing our fruits and veggies. Well, when she got the Kangen machine, she's like, well, you got to get the pesticides off. And I'm like, I already washed them in the sink. And she goes, no, that doesn't work. Well, you know, we're trying to teach our kids to be healthier. And so we're trying to lead the way. And when you really look at the way pesticides are designed, they're not only toxic and designed to kill, they're designed to break down the digestive system, but they're also designed with a petroleum base so that they don't rinse off in the rain. And before everybody goes onto a conspiracy theory, no, it's the farmers that don't want to have to buy new pesticides every time it rains and reapply. They want to put it on and it sticks. Well, the problem is it doesn't rinse off when you wash it. And so when you're eating all your fresh fruits and veggies, you are literally eating and feeding your children the pesticides. It's horrific, and it was a massive piece to Skylar's inflammation. I always ate fruits and veggies and I got bloated and felt miserable. It was the pesticides. Started to clean them, no problem. These are cherry tomatoes that I had washed in regular water, and then I washed them again in the 11.5 Kangen water, and that is what came off, that yellow color right there. It smelled like Windex, and it totally changed the flavor, taste, and texture of the tomatoes. I don't know, I never used to like tomatoes because like you'd bite them and they'd squeak on your teeth. That's your body, your teeth rubbing against the pesticides. You take that off and it tastes like fresh tomatoes. Another big thing that people don't really realize is they do really well on drinking bottled water, but when they go to cook, they just use tap water. Biggest problem with that is you're cooking chlorine into your veggies and your fruits. People get freaked out and want great filtration to get rid of the chlorine, fluorine, bromine, bromide, and they don't really know why. They just don't want it in their water. Well, what those are is what's called an antagonist to the iodine situation, and your thyroid runs on iodine. I am sure that most of the people here know somebody that's had their thyroid checked, if not a lot of people. And what happens is the chlorine actually shuts down the thyroid, makes you gain weight, compromises your immune system, and slows down your metabolism. They use the 11.5 and the 2.5 waters can replace most of your household products. Windex, glass cleaner, floor cleaner, degreasers, the whole bit. Our pets love it. You know, there's a whole section on pets, vets, and Kangen water. I've got, I'm looking at one of a large brand chain pet stores is looking and, hey, if this will help our pets, it's something that we want to pursue. And it really is phenomenal. On the disinfectant chart, I had no idea what I had. I told you before that with Skylar, we struggled with C. diff, and anybody here that happens to be a physician or in healthcare knows that that is one of the biggest nightmares in the world. You have to clean and sterilize and disinfect everything repeatedly, and then the health department has to come and check your facilities. They came and checked our house. If I had had this machine, that would have been literally a non-issue. It kills C. diff in about 18 seconds. We've seen it work with MRSA, staph, Kripke, Klebsiella pneumonia. We've seen it with Salmonella. It's absolutely incredible. And what makes it different is this line right over here, sodium hypochlorite, that's bleach. The benzochloride, that's your industrial strength cleaners. The acid water that's 2.6 that does not have the salt solution is basically like some of your bottled waters, believe it or not. But this strong acid, 2.6, electrolyzed, is called hypochlorous acid, and it kills basically just about everything you can imagine on contact. We've got several lab reports. If you want to buy a designated hypochlorous acid machine, it's going to cost you about $8,000 for that one water. This machine, it produces 2.5 and 11.5, the 9.5s, it produces all the waters. And if you bought this industrial machine, it doesn't clean your fruits and veggies with the 11.5. So that's really the $8,000 difference. The interesting thing about this is back in 2009, the FDA was having problems with some of the methyl-resistant Staph aureus type, the MRSA type stuff that you couldn't kill with antibiotics. And so they opened it up and said, we need to find a way to sterilize our environment. And they actually approved hypochlorous acid in 2009. You can use it one time, it has to be generated on site, and has a 24-hour life expectancy. It has to be produced with a salt solution, or it doesn't meet the criteria. Just to clarify, the FDA has not evaluated the SD501, to my knowledge, for hypochlorous acid, but we've reached the requirements in sterilization. Basically, a lot of your competitors will say, oh, they have an old machine that requires this solution to make 2.5. That's just them expounding on what they don't know that they're talking about, because you use the salt to make hypochlorous acid. It is the only machine on the market I know of that does that on a regular basis. They have some where you can add like a teaspoon of salt and make a little bit, but no volume. We actually have lab reports here: strep, E. coli, MRSA, Kripke. I've got the lab results in my hand. I've actually had several lab reports run. The following case studies on hypochlorous acid are my patients and people that I've worked with directly with other healthcare providers. It is not just me. I'm working with wound care specialists, endocrinologists, surgeons. Do not go, oh, Dr. Michael said just use the hypochlorous acid. I'm using this to demonstrate the efficacy of it in treating historically obstinate cases. This was a case of MRSA where the person was about to lose their thumb. This is a head wound, and you'll notice that it's not bleeding. Hypochlorous acid is actually what's in your neutrophils of your immune system, and that's big fancy term for when your mom told you, let it bleed, it'll sterilize the wound and help it clot. That's hypochlorous acid in your body. And so we sprayed that on there. I actually believe that Victoria is on the webinar tonight. That's my sister. Used it for wound care. Vets use it for surgery. This was post-surgical MRSA infection on a wound vac. Diabetic ulcerations. They were actually in the hospital in that far left picture, getting ready to have his toe amputated, and had a water machine, wasn't using the 2.5 or 11.5, was just drinking the water. And I said, just take it in and soak it. You know, they're already planning on cutting the toe off. And within 2 days, he had this level of healing within a week, and then he kept the toe within a month. Gangrene. And so that's really what makes the Enagic machine different is you have the drinking water, you have the cleaning water, you have the sterilization water, you can clean your fruits and veggies. There's also this whole spa section where it does beauty water for skin. And that's when Enagic says change your water, change your life, it is covering 72% of the issues. Couple highlights on the company. It's the only original equipment manufacturer in the industry. That means they are not parting out to the cheapest bidder. They actually have 100% control over their entire manufacturing, prototypes, packaging, labeling, and maintenance. It's the only manufacturer in the water industry that does that. They've been around for over 40 years, and because they're an OEM and because of their quality standards, the WQA is an association, the Water Quality Association. It's an international company that evaluates all water-related products, filters, hoses, pumps, ionizers, and it's kind of like the Olympics. The SD501 and the Enagic machines are the Gold Seal Award. The new flagship is the K8, and it's now winning the awards. There's an Enagic lineup that fits just about everybody's need and everybody's budget. They actually have changed it. They've redone the R unit and made it more powerful. It's actually 1980. Sorry about that. And then the highest end one is 5980. A lot of people ask me, well, can I just start with the cheapest one? You can, just make sure it does what you want. Real briefly, the SD501 series was the industry standard for years. It had 3 variants, 3980, was the basic model. They had a platinum version for stainless appliances, and then they had an under-the-counter unit. It has an ORP, that's an oxidation reduction potential of -800. That means that's indicative of how much hydrogen, oxygen, and hydroxyl is being created. It produces all 7 types of water. It does include the hypochlorous acid and the cleaning water with a 5-year warranty. 4,000, 4,300. There's an under-the-counter unit now for $5,000. I recommend people upgrade and step up to the K8 for the same price because it's 20% more powerful. The K8s that I've tested, I've gotten an ORP over 1,000. They won't claim that because it's a water source issue. And we have a lot of people that get an aftermarket third-party faucet just because it's 20% more powerful and it's the same price as the under-the-counter unit. It does the hypochlorous acid, it does the cleaning waters. The industrial version, or they call large family, ironically, is got 12 plates. It's $6,000. We sell this predominantly to our restaurants, vets, dentists, maintenance companies. For agricultural, they'll combine some of these for irrigation. Just has a high volume of output of the high end and low end water. And you can just create massive amounts of it. If you step down the scale, we're going to say that the K8 is kind of the industry standard right now. This one is half the price and it's half the ORP. The problem is it's not as powerful, so the hypochlorous acid does not meet the full sterilization requirements as compared to the SD501 series. The 11.5, it does create the cleaning water, but your fruits and veggies don't get quite as clean, and it has a 3-year warranty. Everybody knows that when you go to travel, you can't have bottles in your luggage and you can't take liquids and all that. So they've made a machine that does not produce the 2.5 or 11.5, does not have the cleaning solution in it. The OR, it's 1/3 the price and it's 1/3 the power. When people get online and they say, oh, our machine compares to the SD501 and it's half the price, 2/3 the price, it's less, they're actually misleading you by saying, oh, the ORP is equivalent. Well, one of the issues with the ORP is how long does it last? I have now tested nearly 40 machines. I did this machine because I'd been through 8, it worked, I bought it, I was looking for something better, and I still haven't found it. I had somebody pitch me a water machine last week, and I ran through the specs and I was like, I don't even need to test your machine. That's an R unit. And by that, I mean the R unit doesn't produce 2.5 and it does not produce the 11.5. Nobody else's machine does either. There's no hypochlorous acid coming out of those machines. They may have an equivalent level of hydrogen, but if the hydrogen only lasts for 2 hours and you fill your water bottle and go to work, by lunchtime, you're drinking filtered water. That's one feature. There's the cleaning water, fruits and veggies, sterilization, beauty water. There's all these other things that it does. So when they're actually comparing it to an Enagic machine, they should be comparing it to the $2,000 R unit. Again, I'm sorry about the pricing. This was a sleeper for me. I freely admit, I'm not going to spend $3,000 on a shower unit that's going to filter chlorine. That is not all that it does. I went to a friend's house that was on a well, and he said, "Oh, you can stay. Yeah, you're going to want to shower in our room because it's got our shower because it's got the Anespa." And I'm like, "You're on a well?" And he goes, "No, that's got the tufa minerals in it." And I'm like, "It's got the what?" And he says, "Yeah, it rebuilds your body." I'm like, "What do you mean it rebuilds your body?" Well, in Japan, you go stay in these hot springs, and I thought I had a slide here. And what happens is it rebuilds the tissues. If psoriasis, eczema, hair loss, thyroid issues, they have you go sit in these hot springs a couple times a week. Well, the owner of Enagic went and bought the mineral rights and actually puts those minerals in these cartridges. And so when you're using the shower, you're actually getting that mineral uptake. Remember that whole chlorine thing I said? Well, the scary thing is if you soak in a bathtub, tap water, baths, shower, pools, exercise facilities, if you're in that water for 15 minutes, that is the equivalent of drinking almost a quart of tap water. And the tap water right now should be about 0.2 to 0.4 on the chlorine scale, and it's about 2.0 in Atlanta. So it's really bad. It has 10 times the amount of chlorine in it that it should. No, there's the hot springs. These are the hot springs that they do, and they'll take you in and you literally soak in them, and it helps heal your skin, rebuilds the integrity of the tissues, helps your organs and your endocrine system. That's actually what you get when you get an Anespa. It is the only one in the world. There's no other product on the market that has it. He has an exclusive mining right for the minerals. And so that's just phenomenal. So that's part of our 3-part series that we do a trifecta with our patients, but we'll get into that in a minute. There's 2-stage filtration, there's passive ionization, and then there's the tufamadium. Minerals coming right out of your shower head. You can fill a bathtub. If you fill a bathtub with this water, you're gonna feel amazing for like 3 days after. It's incredible. And so it's nice you can have it in your home. For me, I kind of went and tore the skin apart because I was actually losing my hair, and we have all the super cool toys and all the nutrition and all the lasers and the foot pads and the detox. And I was using this machine for 7 days and my hair stopped falling out. What was happening was the chlorine in the water, because I had a filter from Home Depot, was actually wicking down to the root and sterilizing the root follicle. So my hair would fall out. This actually penetrates all the way down to the dermis. Your skin is one of the most important health factors for your health because it's how you interact with your world. So if you soak into water that's chemically driven, you're literally creating a toxicity, almost to the point of if you want to be healthier, stop bathing, ironically. Radium tufa has been shown to help thyroid issues, skin cancers, rashes, eczema, psoriasis, acne, hair loss, and fibromyalgia. I thought that was kind of interesting. And like I said, you can buy it. When you look at the competition for these machines, there really, really isn't. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights on it. The power supply, they have a dual power supply. Everybody, goes, if you look at some of the competitor videos, you're like, they use a transformer. We use a modern day switch mode power supply. Did you notice on the side of the road when you're driving that there's transformers every 200 feet? Because it's the only way to safely boost the power. And then there's a switch mode power supply to regulate it. If you ever see somebody with an Enagic machine, turn the machine on, turn the water on, start making 9.5 and unplug it from the wall while it's running, and it will continue to run because they don't want any dips in the power. It'll run 5-10 seconds. But what it's designed to do is to modulate the current so that it doesn't overheat. So it switches the usage so that you can run this thing indefinitely. I've got some plate pictures I'll show you in a minute where they're burned. The second most powerful machine that I found, K8, SD501, and the Junior are the 3 most powerful. based on what's called SBUs, but there you go. Amperage is the big issue. The plates, instead of 53 square centimeters or 90 square centimeters, they have the saline enhancer for producing FDA-approved hypochlorous acid. Another big deal is you can actually clean the machines. Yeah, I won't own a machine that I can't clean. Every machine manually cleans calcium off its plates. If it doesn't, it's really bad. Enagix does that, cleans it every 15 minutes. But you need to clean it once a month with a cleaning cartridge to get the molds, to get the things out of the lines that are in there, because it's water. If it sits, it's going to create problems. If you're doing some research, if it says energy saver, it adds the necessary minerals, it has reduced power, fancy plate, lifetime warranties, you're being sold a bill of goods. They never measure up. There's about cleaning your machine. One of the reasons I became so opposed to it with Skylar was she was getting molds and fungus. All of our kids were getting heavy metal toxicity, and it was actually coming from the cheaper machines that we were using. So we really became annoyed with that. Some people go, well, their machines are so bad they have to have a cleaning department. No, Enagic has a cleaning department and a tech department because source water right now is so bad that it's clogging up machines and things like that. So they'll completely detail your machine for 40 bucks. If they find something wrong with it, they just replace it. I've actually had people have entire machines replaced when they sent it in to get maintenance. These were my machines. You can see the corrosion here on this plate. This plate's actually burned, and you can see the size difference in the plates. Which one's going to electrocute you more? That's the real question. You can see the corrosion, you can see the mold, the burned plates. Again, another burned plate, more mold in here, the lines are crummy. So it's just really not healthy. I mean, you're drinking dirty water. This machine is amazing. It's used in a lot of restaurants. They've actually got bottled water that they use to put it on things. You see this in a lot of your big cities and higher end resort type restaurants because it's a high quality water. This is actually my favorite restaurant in the whole wide world. That's Tim, he's the chef. It's Lassay Steakhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you can go by there, absolutely. Great guy. Tell Tim Dr. Michael sent you, and you want some Kangen water, and you guys will have a great conversation. In Malaysia, Japan, they actually have a Kangen cafe. They do a lot with ramen noodles, and so they use high energized water to make ramen noodles. Best water in the world for a 17-cent meal. There's logic in there somewhere. A lot of commercial setups. They use them for cleaning. Here they've tied 4 together to use it for carpet cleaning. This was my wife and I in Japan. They actually irrigate the turmeric fields and they process it with 11.5 and sterilize it with 2.5. So it's not only organic right down to the fertilizer that they produce, it's organic in the way that they clean it chemical free. There is a reason why everybody compares themselves to Enagic, because it's the industry standard. It is the gold standard. They got the best maintenance, the cleaning, quality of plates, power supply. They've got the longest company history. It produces the most types of water, and it's the only one that really does hypochlorous acid as a main feature. Last thing that I was going to talk about, I just alluded to briefly, was their organic turmeric fields. That is their 3rd product in their lineup. I'm not sure if anybody knows the health benefits of turmeric. It is off the hook. You can get online, and there are over 6,000 research articles on the health benefits of turmeric. I won't bore you by listing them, but it's literally turning the drug-based medical model on its ear from an herb that they've used for an Ayurvedic herb they've used for thousands of years. It's actually the curcuminoids in it, but there's a problem. If you buy turmeric at the grocery store, when you open that bottle, within 24 to 48 hours, it's going to lose half of its oxidative potential. People used to use it for seasoning. The reality is it's such a powerful antioxidant, it goes to town as soon as it becomes available in the air. That's where Enagic saw an opportunity in the fact that they patented a turmeric product that has vitamin C's, B's, 12s, vitamin E, olive oils. The only contraindication that I am personally aware of with this is people that have a folic acid sensitivity. Other than that, it's a phenomenal product, and I have seen miraculous stuff happen from arthritis, fibromyalgia, migraine headaches. The anti-inflammatory component of this beats anything that I've ever seen. This actually came out of Georgia Tech here in Atlanta. That is a stacking. It's red blood cells are stacked up and they're not transporting oxygen because you can't get to them. Think of, a dozen donuts stacked up instead of tennis balls rolling around. Well, with 11.5 and UConn in 10 minutes, same blood sample. And so what that means is they're rolling around, they're carrying more oxygen and nutrition. They're working the way that they should. This was, again, the picture I showed you earlier, us in the turmeric fields of Japan. They irrigate and process with Enagic's water. There's a factory, the setup. This is the sterilization baths to process it so that it disinfects it from the ground up. But what's really cool about this is they start with uncontaminated forests. They don't just take soil that's been completely depleted. They start with a brand new product, brand new fields, and they make their own fertilizer so that it is literally the most organic product on the market. Then it's treated with the water, so it's never dealt with any chemicals or harsh things. And then this right here, the little packaging, they actually give them in a sealed metal envelope with a patent that goes to the capsule that prevents oxygen and moisture from destroying the turmeric. So that when you get the very first tablet you take in that package is just as powerful as the last one you take. If you go buy turmeric and you just take the top off and there's like 50 to 250 capsules in there, by the day after tomorrow, they're all oxidized. Within a week, they're seasoning that you can use for your food. They just lose their potency that quickly. With all of our patients, like Balazs said, we do a lot with the, rebuilding the body from the inside out. We optimize humanity. We deal with cancer, diabetes, rumors, tumors, and isms. And our trifecta that we personally use is we recommend the Anespa because it helps detoxify and prevent poisoning. It boosts the thyroid and the immune system. The K8, in our opinion, is the ultimate water for consumption. You can use the machine to clean, sterilize, cosmetics, food prep, and it will literally regenerate your body from the inside out. As a side note, at 200 pounds, basically, I'm 18 gallons of water. I drink a gallon of water every day. I don't drink sodas. I don't drink teas. I don't drink juices. And what you'll see is I'm replacing 72% of my body with high energized water every 18 days. Talk about anti-aging. That's like if you had anything that you replaced 72% of the parts on it every month, it would never wear out. And so from an anti-aging standpoint, we're fixing all the good stuff. The Anespa is preventing us from soaking in all the bad stuff. And then the Yukon, it's the most organic form of turmeric on the planet. It's some of the best stuff I've ever seen. Now, they have a tea if you don't want the capsules. Some people don't like to take capsules. They have an amazing turmeric tea that I actually prefer. And then we use that with our arthritic and our fibromyalgia patients because it really flushes the tissues. They also have a soap, and when you order it, you can get it in all these weird combinations that you want. Soap, tea, capsules, any way you want. But that's our base recommendation. Anybody that comes to us, we start with a bioscan. I told Balazs that for y'all's group, anybody associated with GPM and Elixir for Life, we'll give them a 20% discount on scans. So instead of $250, they're $200, done with hair and saliva. We break down the body. We find the best way to give it, to help it eat according to your blood type, to prevent more inflammatory responses. And, you know, we can build nutritional profiles and whatnot if we want, but everybody starts off here. Like, our first thing is, do you have an S-Bun, a K8? All right, do that first. Don't waste your money with us. Do that for 30 days, and then let's see where your scans are. We give away water to our patients. We've got just, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many doctors' offices. We've got chiropractors, neurologists, naturopaths, wound care specialists that have these machines in their offices because that's what they do. It's just that pivotal, it's that impactful, and it's that important. Balazs, I'm not sure if you're still there. Want to jump back in here. I'll open it up for some Q&A, but that kind of covers everything. If I can help out more, let me know.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for sharing with us. I think that you nailed everything on the head. It was concise, and I don't know about you, but isn't that super exciting to learn all about the body and the science and why these products make such a drastic difference? If you got value from that, if you feel you learned a lot and understood what this was about really well, just drop a comment below and you know, give Dr. Michael some love here and some thanks, because I know he doesn't want it. And he's cool.
I'll take all I can get. Just send the love.
Give him some love. And one of the things about presenting information like this for free, just kind of giving and helping, is we always love the feedback. We always love the golden nuggets, the aha moments, the one thing that you had no idea about that you learned tonight. So maybe you knew all of this already before watching this, but for the most part, over the last 10 years and really promoting this for the last 5 years, I haven't met anybody who knew all of it. Some people know some of it, but very few people know all of it. So we will open up some Q&A if you have questions about any of this a little bit further. Now, for those of you who already have the technology, for those of you that are watching who have the machine, who have the shower, who have the Ukon or any of the products, this is not your time to ask questions, okay? We have a separate Facebook group for you guys called Kangen Water and Ukon. We are going to be doing these calls with Dr. Michael on a fairly regular basis. There's already a lot of additional information there that we've done in the past. So you guys go ask your questions over there. This is for people who don't have the products. It's their first time watching this. You know, the Q&A is going to be specifically for you. Now, I do want to mention that as we are continuing to share this with our family and our friends, the questions will start to repeat themselves. So if you have a serious, important question, you can post it directly in the group outside of this video replay. And what will happen is, as these questions start to come in, you'll be able to use the search tab, the search function, whether you're on mobile or on your desktop. You'll be able to search in keywords, and previous questions will pop up with the answers being in the comments already. And that's going to help save everybody some time from having to repeat ourselves all the time and whatnot. So please start there. Also, there's a files section within this group as well. My mom, Jujana, is amazing. She's been uploading a ton of awesome content and extra additional information on all sorts of things that you may or may not be interested in. So help yourself. Go take a look in there. They're downloadable. You can click on your phone and read these PDFs. You can download it, print it off and whatnot. I know Dr. Michael has some great stuff as well that I'm sure he's happy to share and add it in the file section at some point as well. And then the last thing that I'll mention is that there are incredible testimonials as you scroll down and take a look inside this group. And now these are people that are part of our community. They are people that have recently got the products. Some of them have had it for a longer time, like myself and my family, it's been 10 years for us, which is kind of crazy to think that time flies, but it's been a very healthy and very blessed 10 years, largely to do because we have these products in our lives. So Dr. Michael,
5 years since we went to Japan and rode the party bus.
I know that party bus, man. We had a great time. Yeah, we met 5 years ago. How cool is that? So the other, I don't know if you're seeing some questions over there on your end, Dr. Michael. Is there any of them that you want to address?
I'll do whatever I'm asked. I'm just kind of looking. I found that I can love my own button now. It's kind of funny. I love me.
One question that I'll include is how much, I don't know if you covered this, I don't think you mentioned it, but how much water should someone be drinking per day, you know, based on who they are and whatnot?
It's listed back in there in literally how much water you should drink. 50% on a normal day is a bare minimum. 75% of your body weight in ounces. If you're dehydrated, you've exercised, you've got a cold, got a flu, and if you have a chronic health condition, we always start off with, you know, build up to 100 ounces, 100% of your body weight in ounces a day. People are like, I'm never going to stop peeing. Yeah, we're detoxifying you. We're getting rid of that. So,
okay.
Again, I mentioned that there's doctor's offices. There's certain conditions like congestive heart failure that they'll limit the amount of water, at which point you just make this the best water that you can possibly drink. So drink that in whatever your limitations are. We've seen congestive heart failure patients actually reduce the electromagnetic stress on the heart because it generates electricity for the body, but because you're drinking energized water, it significantly reduces the electromagnetic stress on the heart at that point, which was kind of interesting to work with some of our large medical colleges here in town.
Cool. Wow. So I don't see a lot of other questions here. I don't know if you do on your end, but as people come through and they have questions, like I mentioned, please ask in the group, check in the search tab, also watch the testimonials, and you're going to continue to get all the knowledge, because our mission, our intention, our goal is to give you all the information you need in a safe environment, so you know you can get all your questions answered, be educated, and then decide whether or not these products make sense for you and your family to invest in. Now, on the side of purchasing these products, it's very important you understand that the company Enagic is a direct sales company. Okay, so full disclosure, you do buy these products directly from somebody who owns the products. So whoever invited you to this group, please go back to them. And if you're ready or wanting to invest in the technology, go through them. Now, you may have heard of the direct selling industry, network marketing, things like this. And word of mouth is one of the most powerful ways to promote anything. Now, the reason why Enagic chose this model is because the best people to promote these products are people with real life-changing testimonials and stories, because they believe in the product, they know that it works, they know it's legitimate, and then they want to pay it forward and share it with their family, share it with their friends, because at the end of the day, right, our loved ones, our family, our health is our wealth. You know, business and lifestyle and money and all this stuff is great, but if you lose your health personally, that's the most important thing, first and foremost. And secondly, your spouse or your children, your parents, your siblings, your friends, etc. You know, we want to make sure that we're doing our part by paying this forward, by letting them know that here's this information and it's on you to go through it. It's on you to see the value in it for you. And if not, that's perfectly okay. And one of the things that I want you to really understand, we're not going to get into it tonight. We're not focusing on that at all. But in the regular business world of network marketing, direct sales, etc., most people are approaching their friends and family first by making a list and doing home parties and all this kind of stuff, which is fine. but they're also kind of trying to launch a business from those strategies at the same time. Now, what we're doing here isn't that. It's completely different. We offer our community an online platform for the business side. So we actually give them the tools and the training and the platform to promote the lifestyle and the business online with paid advertising to generate cold leads, essentially, or people looking for a change in career or more freedom or more money or whatever. And then we introduce them to these products after the fact. So the reason why I'm letting you know this is because we do not need to sell anything to you for our business to thrive, for our business to work. In fact, it's the exact opposite. We are not promoting it. We're not recruiting. We're not trying to sell it for financial gain. We're doing this because, as you can see with the science you just heard from Dr. Michael, the miraculous, amazing testimonials inside the group, we feel a duty and an obligation to, at the very least, make you aware of what these products are, what they can do for you. And after that, it's all on you. You know, we're happy to assist. We're happy to guide. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to do all those things. There are different ways of being able to get your hands on these products, whether it's trying them out or financing them for low payments. There's all kinds of solutions for people who want this and are ready for this, okay? So I just want to be fully transparent. If you do your own research and due diligence, which we recommend that you do, you will see that Enagic does have a direct sales structure to it, and we're not hiding that. We're being fully transparent around it. But if you think about it, if someone was to go out of their way to help you and to educate you and to do all of this stuff to add value into your life, then wouldn't it make sense that they would be rewarded for that, as opposed to some large company just kind of lining their pockets? You know what I mean? I also know that many people inside the community are happily willing to give a friends and family a deal of some sort. Now, we can't give a discount, so it's not technically a discount. It's coming from them personally, from their hearts, to give back. And that varies depending person to person. So you can go ahead and ask them about that. If you're interested, if you're curious, inquire more. And if you are open to the referral side of it and you want to learn a little bit more about that, then just ask the person who invited you here and they can kind of take it from there. But like I said, this is really something that I've been passionate about for 10 years now as a customer. Changed my life, changed my health. I don't know what I would do without these products in my life. Same goes for my mom, my brother, my wife, my closest friends all have invested in this technology, and they're all healthy. They're all, their quality of life is where it needs to be with their energy levels and all that good stuff. So this is something that from my heart to you, and from all of us here who invited you, we truly do care. We really love and appreciate you. And we want to see you thrive. We want to see you focusing on prevention. We want to see you on adding this to your repertoire of different things that you're already doing to protect your health and to take care of that asset, which is our bodies, right? We just get one of these physical bodies in our lifetime, and we do really have to take care of that. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for watching this. Feel free to pass this information along. You're welcome to add people into this group as well. If you have some friends or some close family and you think that they need to see this, which I believe everyone needs to see this, and our mission is to change the world with this information, this company, and feel free to add them, and I'm just really, really looking forward to hearing how the products added value to you and having you share your testimonial inside this group to the hundreds and eventually thousands of other testimonials we're going to have in here. So thank you so much for your time. Feel free to ask your questions. Check out the file section. You can add Dr. Michael directly. The name is actually in the video at the top. You click that, it takes you to his personal Facebook page. You can reach out to him there. If you have any questions regarding specific health ailments or that kind of stuff, we need to be obviously very careful. We do not make any claims or guarantees or promises or nothing like that. But at the same time, when you put a lot of different pieces of the puzzle together, Dr. Michael is one of the best in the world at guiding you in the right direction to ensuring that you have the very best knowledge and information to help you if you may be dealing with some stuff. So feel free to reach out to him. He mentioned that he has a little bit of a special offer on those scans that I'm sure is important for lots of you to know that knowledge. So reach out to him. And yeah, I'm really, really, really grateful for all of you. And thanks for your testimonials. Thanks for adding value and sharing this with the world. You're making a difference. So if you don't have anything else to add, Dr. Michael, we'll wrap this up tonight.
I'm always glad to be here. You know that.
Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.